It is crunch time in the UCL. Match day 5 predictions, where we have some epic games. PSG against Newcastle, Feyenoord against Atletico, Galatasaray against Manchester United. And we're going to do all the predictions here on today's video. So get your predictions in the comments down below. Remember to hit the like button, subscribe to the channel if you're new around here, and let's get into the predictions. Here we are, people. Match day 5 of the UCL. Crunch time. Shakhtar Donetsk against Antwerp. We know Shakhtar are a good home side, even though they don't even play at home, but in Hamburg, and they have been excellent. You know, they lost to Porto at home, didn't really deter them. Then they beat Barcelona, great performance, and they're going up against Antwerp, and Antwerp just simply don't know how to defend. This should be a routine win for Shakhtar, in my opinion, and that is going to be a 2-0 victory for Shakhtar. Then we have Lazio and Celtic. Remember last time these two teams met, it was obviously a Pedro late winner, like in the 95th minute. Celtic are just coming off a 6-0 drubbing by Atletico. They obviously got the early red card in the game. And while I'm still not confident in Lazio, they did get a 1-0 victory over Feyenoord in the last match day. And yes, they are not the greatest away side, but at home, they are competitive. And it's Sarribal against Celtic. Maybe Celtic will kind of want to get some revenge on Lazio and what happened the last match day. Celtic will make it competitive, but I think Lazio, this is a critical game for them. I'm going to go 2-1 for Lazio. Barcelona and Porto. So if Barca win this game, they will most likely top the group, which is very critical for them because they cannot finish second and they cannot lose this game. Otherwise, that last match day is going to get intense, even though they're going up against Antwerp. While for Porto, you know, they did give a good game to Barcelona at home. They really should have gotten a point in that game. I thought they were the better team. They didn't. So this game is going to be very closely contested. And without Gavi, still with no Ter Stegen, a couple more injuries for Barca. Porto, you know, they still got... The thing with Porto is they are a very good counter-attacking team. And we know Conceição. Organized. And I feel like Porto could get a result here. But I'm going to go narrowly for Barcelona here. I'm going to go 2-1. I think Porto they just don't have enough clinical forwards. And we saw that against Barcelona. They're going to have to be clinical in this game. And Barcelona right now, you could say they're vulnerable, but Ter Stegen is going to be a big miss. But I expect Barca to win this game at home. It's going to be a great game. Then Young Boys and Zvezda are battling out for the third spot. We obviously saw the last time these two teams met, it was 2-2, highly entertaining. Guys, we know, okay, people can say, oh, why does this game matter? These two teams want to go to the Europa League. So this game, I think, is going to be highly entertaining. I've actually really been impressed by Zvezda during the Champions League. They've been competitive away from home. At home, they've given tough games to RB Leipzig. Young Boys, they're just coming off the loss against Man City. It was just drubbing, but I feel like at home, they're a good team. This is a tough one to call. You know what? I think I'm going to go 1-1 here. But hey, if either team win, they're off to the Europa League. Man City, RB Leipzig. Obviously, Man City won the last matchup 3-1. We know what happened last season in round of 16. 7-0 at home. Haaland getting 5. And if Man City win this game, they have won the group. I expect them to do it. This should be a comfortable victory. You know, RB Leipzig are a good team, but not good enough to trouble Man City at home, especially. We know Man City, they're such a good home side, and it's going to be a 3-1 comfortable win. Now, it's the big one. AC Milan going up against Borussia Dortmund. Oh boy, what do we expect here? So AC Milan got their first victory and first goal against PSG. That was an amazing performance. 70 minutes, toe-to-toe against PSG. The last 20 minutes, old school Italian defending. While for Dortmund, they're coming off back-to-back victories against Newcastle. Defensively, they look strong. They just need a little bit more creativity, I think, in the final third. And so this game is going to be fascinating because AC Milan have a lot of injuries right now. Rafael Leao is, you know, injured still. He could be back for the game. He is a must. But if he doesn't play, then Pulisic, Chukwueze, and whoever's going to start a striker, it could be Luka Jovic of all people. But the midfield, Pioli starts Krunic, they've lost. If he doesn't start him, and starts with Reinders, Musa, and Ruben Loftus-Cheek, then AC Milan can win this game. I actually have no clue because Dortmund, you know, we were all clowning them the first match day, not a good away side. Then they do well at Newcastle. Last couple games in the Bundesliga hasn't been as good. I feel like this is going to be a draw. I'm going to go 1-1. I don't know why. Because of the injuries Milan have, they might not score enough goals. And I expect Dortmund, I think they'll be comfortable just getting a point because they know they have the last match day at home against PSG. We continue with the group of death with PSG and Newcastle. The last time these two teams met, it was a 4-1 victory for Newcastle. But right now, Newcastle are decimated by injuries. You see all the injuries they have. Callum Wilson, Dan Burn, Isak, Botman. There's so many injuries. I feel bad for Newcastle because they could really give a good game here to PSG. They have their team fully fit, but they don't. PSG, they're obviously missing Marquinhos, Zaire Emery, and these sort of guys. So for PSG, they've been a good team at home. It's just that I think it's away from home where they cannot really translate their game and they look a little bit too open. At home, dominant. And I think Kylian Mbappe wants to get some revenge on Newcastle. I think Newcastle will make it competitive, but we see away from home, they just don't have that same sort of tactical idea. And Eddie Howe cannot start that same lineup he did against Dortmund away. You have to start Gordon. There is no doubt about it. There was nothing in the attack for Newcastle in that first half. As soon as they brought on the subs, looked a little bit better. But I think this is going to be a comfortable victory for PSG. 3-1, I'm going for. The last game for Tuesday, it's a big one in Rotterdam. It is Feyenoord going up against Atletico. The last time these two teams met, it was a 3-2 victory for Atletico, but you could argue that Feyenoord really deserved the point in that game. They were excellent. There was no Santi Jimenez, even though Santi right now is in a little bit of a goal drought, but he can change it in this big game because we know Feyenoord are an excellent home side. We know what they want to do. It's just about how can they translate it away from home. And Atletico, we know with Morata, Griezmann. So I'm intrigued how this game is going to go. I think Feyenoord, we know, is going to dominate possession. Atletico are going to hit them on the counter-attack. Simeone understands. We still got the game at home against Lazio. We don't really need to go for the win in this game. So I think this is going to be an excellent, excellent footballing matchup. I'm going to go for 2-2 in this game. I think this is going to be high-scoring, clinical strikers in Morata and Santi Jimenez right now. We move to the Wednesday games where it is Sevilla going up against PSV. Big game as well. Sevilla, you know, hot and cold. It's just like, I don't know how to read this Sevilla team, especially now with Alonso as manager. PSV coming off the win over Lens, which was a big, big win. And now, if PSV can win this game, they should be good to qualify to round of 16, even though they got Arsenal in the last game. And remember the last time these two teams met, it was 2-2. Obviously, I think it was Luke de Jong who got the late goal in the game to equalize it. It's just about how can PSV translate their game away from home and not be so naive defensively. And for Sevilla, that lineup that Alonso chose away in Arsenal was just like, you gave up before the game started. You cannot do that against PSV at home. I don't think they will. I think it will be better performance. 1-1 in this game. And the other big game on Wednesday, early kickoff, it is Galatasaray going up against Manchester United. Man United, of course, suffering from a lot of injuries right now. Rashford is going to be suspended for the game. Mason Mount is out for a month. What do you do? Varane is now having beef with the manager. I don't know what to say about Man United. They're in good form in the Premier League. Champions League, it has been horrific. Defensively, a horror show. Yes, we could say that they got some bad calls against them in the last game against Copenhagen, but still, they look naive defensively, especially away from home. Galatasaray, they gave a good game to Bayern Munich. You could say, oh, was it Icardi offside? We know Galatasaray at home. That crowd, that atmosphere, I think it gets the players going. The pressing is going to look good. Aktoglu, I still worry about them defensively, especially going up against Man United. But maybe with no Rasmus Højlund, that's big issues. And I think Galatasaray, I think they're going to end United campaign here. I'm going to go 2-1 for Galatasaray. It's just that the injuries are now hurting United. Real Sociedad and RB Salzburg. So Real Sociedad, they've already booked their spot into the round of 16. Amazing achievement. Now they want to win the group. And they're going up against RB Salzburg, who, yes, they were competitive against Inter. Away from home, I don't think it's going to be that good enough. And we know Real Sociedad right now. These guys are an amazing team. I'm going to go for a 3-0 victory. And the other game in the group, it is Benfica going up against Inter. Benfica have probably been one of the worst teams in the Champions League this season. I mean, they scored a goal, but the performances have been so lackluster, so uninspiring. New players in, like Kochko and these sort of guys, but I just don't see anything inspiring. I think they want to focus on the league. They don't even want to go down to the Europa League. Obviously for Inter, they have RB Leipzig against Juventus this weekend. We could probably see Inzaghi then rotate against Benfica, which he has done in the Champions League. It just shows you the squad for Inter is very good. So I actually think this could be a draw. And I think it's going to go 1-1 because Benfica got to show some pride here. Even though I think Inter are the better team, maybe the rotation might hamper a little bit. Braga against Union Berlin. So obviously Union Berlin, I mean, they are going through the mud right now. And I mean the deep, deep mud that you find like in the rainforest of the Amazon. Urs Fischer now has been sacked. It's just been a horrible season for Union Berlin. They've had so many highs in the last couple of years. And now they're going back to the low and the low. And for Braga, just a very good team. Arthur George, I'll say it every time we do these predictions, is doing a fantastic job. They've been amazing in the games. Even though, you know, they've been unlucky at times. They missed the penalty against Real Madrid early on. I think they're going to win this game at home. I just don't see anything for Union Berlin. They're going to be defensive. I'm going to go 2-1 for Braga. The other game in the group, it is injury-riddled Real Madrid going up against Napoli. I mean, I don't know who's going to play for Real Madrid. Is it going to be the ball boys now? Because Vinny is now injured. Could be Rodrigo as well. We'll see about Bellingham's status. I don't know who the heck is going to play. Valverde might have to go striker at this point. It's just a shame because I wish both teams were healthy. You know, Osimhen, of course. Osimhen is still out for Napoli. They got now Walter Mazzarri, who has come back to the club after 10 years. Intrigued to see how Napoli will set up against Real Madrid. And if I'm Napoli, you just got to take the game to Real Madrid. They are decimated by injuries. You have to win this game if you want to win the group or have any chance of winning the group. Take the game to Real Madrid. I think for Real Madrid, Carlo, he's been in these situations before. He knows how to manage it. I have actually no clue how this game is going to go. It was a 3-2 win last time for Real Madrid. It was a highly entertaining game. Bellingham was amazing in that matchup, especially in the first half. But this time, I think it's going to be 1-1. With the majority of forwards out for Real Madrid and Osimhen out for Napoli, I think it'll be low scoring. 1-1 is my prediction. Arsenal versus Lens. It should be a comfortable victory for Arsenal. I think a lot of people are highly critical of Arsenal this season. Oh, they're not free-flowing. They're not as exciting as last season. I think Arteta understands how to manage now this season, especially with all the competitions that they have to deal with. Well, for Lens, of course, they beat Arsenal last time. That was at home. Are they as good away from home? They obviously got the draw away in Sevilla. They lost to PSV. I think for Lens, if they get a point here and they beat PSV, then they have a chance of getting to round of 16. So I wonder if Lens are really just going to say, we'll take a 0-0 here. I don't think they're going to get it. I think Arsenal will score 2 goals and it will be 2-0. To Arsenal. And the last game of match day 5, it is Bayern Munich going up against FC Copenhagen. Kane is an absolute goal-scoring machine, and FC Copenhagen have been super competitive. FC Copenhagen get a point here, beat Galatasaray at home. You're in the round of 16, I think for the second time in their history. I don't think they can do it though. Bayern are just such a good team. I think for Bayern, it's just about, all right, win this game, then we can rest players against Man United away. I think that's what the idea for Tuchel is, and I'm going to go 3-1 for Bayern Munich in this group, and this group is finito then. So there's the match day 5 predictions of the UCL. Remember to give your predictions in the comments down below, and of course we'll be doing a review live stream on Thursday after all the games, so join me for that. Remember to hit the like button, subscribe to the channel if you're new around here, and have a beautiful day. Stay safe in this crazy world. Until next time, adios. Explain something.